I'm gonna record now. I'm recording because
All good.
I'm the worst. But
All good.
so Dominique, is your last name? Hold on, I want to pronounce this. I want to try.
Yeah, go for it.
Montijo?
Montijo. Yeah, close.
Okay. So what I was saying is when I have recentered my life and I sold my portion of the CrossFit gym in November of last year, and I really set out on self-discovery. Not self-discovery, because I still go to AA meetings. I still do therapy. I still talk to people. Most of my friends are sober. Um, but there's certain levels, right? And we all know this. And so being a mindset coach and somebody who's always, trying to be like, oh, do better, better, better. I was like, well, how authentic am I being with myself? Am I coaching myself at all? And I went,
Mhm.
ooh, that's a horrible answer because I know it, right? That's the uncomfortable of the
Yes.
self-assessment,
Yes.
which that's what's given me life. That's what's kept me sober and
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah.
and not just being material self-assessment,
Right.
assessment. And because that's not how I got sober. I got sober because I re-engaged with the relationship with God. Now, once again, I like AA because it talks about a God of my understanding. And at that moment, I couldn't deal with a judgmental God. I was like, first of all, if there is a God, which I'm pretty sure there is, I'm sure he
Mhm.
doesn't like me. And he does not like all the stuff I've done. So why would he want to take his time to help me? And what I loved is in November when I left, what my identity really was a gym owner and a coach. And once again, who is the top dog at the gym? Everybody needs to see me today. And yet I wasn't paying attention to my daughter. I didn't know she was struggling in school. I didn't know
Mhm.
I was kind of aware my wife wanted to kill me because she was like, hey, who are you? You resemble my husband, but I don't know because you're never home.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, because, of course, all my good feelings were from the gym and all right, the debating versus doing. So that was the first one that I loved because, first of
Good.
all, I like that, you don't ask a baker when you're, I just love, well, I need to learn how to fix my shoe. Well, you better ask a baker.
I have the weirdest analogies.
But those make sense, right?
Yeah.
Because it's shit.
Yeah.
Once again, you have to simplify it because I know how unintelligent I am. Because book smart, I can be book smart.
Yeah.
Street smart, I can be street smart. When it comes to self-application,
Yeah.
oh, I'm a box of rocks. And so um, when
Most people are. It's okay.
I know, and I'm willing and I'm very determined to live on the other side of my limitations, live on the
Mhm.
other side of fear. And
Yep.
so it's been cool. One of the first things I did after feeling sorry for myself for about 2.5, 3 weeks,
Mhm.
um, is I started delving into books and the stuff that I found freedom in before, which is, people can do, I'm going to air quotes all the time, but
All good.
self-help books or motivation, inspiration, because for me, inspiration creates aspiration.
Mhm.
And motivation is external. Which, once again, I loved when ET said it's like motivation's external and inspiration's internal. It's just, and it's okay to utilize
Mhm.
an external, and then because we have five senses for a reason. I mean, we
Mhm.
are part of the world. Um, and
For sure.
so what I loved is the possibilities. So I come from a low self-esteem point of view almost
Mhm.
in every situation. And I've always made myself little and little and little, which is funny, I'm 5'5", and I've always complained I'm so little. But I've really, because I've never been scared of failure. I really haven't, because I know what that is. I've been homeless. I've been in a lockup treatment. I've had police looking for me. I've I had my heart stop from doing drugs and then it started again.
Mhm.
I've made some interesting choices. So I
Mhm.
know what not winning feels and looks like.
Yeah.
But the thought of success is terrifying.
Okay.
But it's one of those things. Why? Oh, what's box of rocks? I never answered that question. I was just like, well, it's scary. Okay, that's acceptable. It's scary, but why? Well, I don't know. I never really went that far. I just said it's scary and I'm gonna do it. And something as simple as um, one of the gym owners that's about 45, 50 minutes away from me. We're still right around Detroit area.
Yeah.
But my perception of him was from what other people had told me. But yet he had amazing athletes. His gym was successful. It was just one of those things. God was directing me to like form your own opinion.
Mhm.
And so the debating instead of doing, I did the uncomfortable, which was I reached out to him and said, "Hey, can I come and interview you? Because I'm recentering my life and I just want to ask questions." Being a 46-year-old guy, usually that's like all right, dude. And instantly his reply was, "Oh my gosh, yeah, that sounds amazing." And so that's when I was laughing because that's when God was like,
Yep. All you gotta do is
"Opportunity."
ask.
Yeah. And so when I went there, within 10 minutes, he was hugging me, which I was like, "Okay, you win." But within 2 minutes, he explained he adjusted his idea of wanting to be successful as a gym owner as being able to just love on people and
Mhm.
and I went, okay, God, I'm smelling what you're cooking now. And then I met two of his coaches that are twins that, oh my gosh, they look like stereotypical CrossFit people. And I'm a person who does CrossFit. That's why I'm like, I'm way more of a coach than an athlete, and that's okay because I've seen myself move. Plus, I've also seen myself eat like a kid who's never had any sweets in his life. And so it's
Scarf 'em all
fun.
down.
I know. I was like, I could say that to you because I watched your stuff and I'm like, okay, she'll appreciate me
I do.
picking out comments and jokes.
I do.
But, and they said, hey, yeah, one of the things we do is we try to, excuse me, we work out occasionally on Thursdays, and then afterward, we do a Bible study with everybody else who's here. And I was like, wait, what? Because I just started going back to church maybe a month before that because I had started training my pastor and
Mhm.
doing CrossFit at the church. So I would do CrossFit and teach him that, and he would kick it to me about God and Jesus and stuff. And once again, I was just available for the opportunity. And
Mhm.
and ever since then, everything's been I'm a different me. I'm the best version of me I've ever been. Now,
Mhm.
once again, I'm not the polished version. I haven't fully monetized this version. um, but what I am very grateful for, because I'm more faith-based in on the side of limitations, I'm not worried about having to go out and get a full-time job because my wife hasn't lost her job and financially I don't really have to right now. I don't
Mhm.
that I get to be doing this. I get to,
Mhm.
instead of having to be at a job,
Yep.
I'm able and so grateful to connect with you, which
Yeah.
from a traditional status quo point of view is a little weird because I'm like, hey, you're a beautiful girl and I'm a random dude and I'm going to reach out to you and be like, hey, do you want to be on my YouTube channel? I have like 18 subscribers and I think most of them are my family. But
It's more than I have. It's
one of
all
the
good.
things that reason why I started the YouTube channel was because I used to do motivational speaking and substance abuse and all that stuff years ago. And I liked it because it was impactful, but once again, it was that weird, like, I basically get IBS for 2 hours thinking about doing an interview because I'm like, oh, it's so uncomfortable. Once I start talking, I'm fine. But
Yeah.
because it's all about me.
Yep.
Now, sitting here talking with you, or in small groups, or even, you know, that's why I like CrossFit, because our groups were maybe like 15, 20 people, and team building and leadership,
Yep.
all that stuff is the same. And that's my jam, because I get interaction. I get to ask questions, because that's really, like, I'm taking up all the time telling you about me. I'm sorry, but it's because I'm so
Okay.
excited that my paradigm has shifted with a
Yeah.
lot of work, but I felt directed to reach out to you. And I've already like sent several of your posts to a bunch of people, and
Thanks.
because what I love is I don't like interviewing people, because that's weird. And if I'm interviewing, to me, I should have an agenda. And my basic agenda is to tell people, like, you've been impactful to me without even having ever met me. And I think that's a gift. Like, that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
And it's true, because like I said, I got, I got screenshots, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a good one. And even though I got your face screenshotted perfectly on that, that's pretty fantastic. But like
I
this
always
one.
laugh when I try and take the picture for the video. There's great photos. Great photos.
Well, and see, I'm not good like that. So I've only watched one of my videos
Yeah.
once, and it's the one that was like 1:50, because somebody said, you don't seem like you're as upbeat and happy on the other one. I went, yeah, because I'm authentically confused and not wanting to be patient. I remember the post. I was like, waiting on you, God. Like, dude, I don't know why I'm still talking to this stupid box and telling my story to nobody. Like, okay. But when I first got not connected, but when I first had ET, because of course, being at the gym, I heard that you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe in a song for several years. And I was just like, oh, I like this one. This is the one they do that talking. It's cool.
Yep.
I didn't even think about it. But I would put it on like when people would be mentally struggling and stuff. And then when I listened to it, yes, it was cool. His story was cool and this and that, but it touched me on the being out there and humble at the same point, which is, once again, duality is difficult. And as humans, I think that's what we struggle with.
For sure.
I know I do personally. I struggle with I always want to be a better person, a loving person, and this and that, but I'm also a selfish a-hole, and I'm egotistical, and I sit there, and once again, I can tell how my day is going when I'm driving. If I'm letting people over and they don't even give me the wave and I'm still smiling, life is good. If I know their license plate and like I'm sitting there in their car going, whoa, I'm a little bit, they need to calm down. Obviously, yeah, I'm not praying, I'm not being accepting. And so I wanted to just reach out to you and tell you that, not necessarily because whether or not you're going to continue on your journey, because some guy in Michigan calls or makes a Zoom call and says, hey, you've been impactful to me, and I want to thank you. I know that's not why you're necessarily doing it, but I do want to thank you and say,
It is though.
I'm grateful that you've made these posts, and I'm grateful for your authenticity, and I'm grateful that, because what I like is when you're posting, I'm sure you've polished them a little bit, maybe, but that's not the important part. The message is the important part. And I got that immediately, and I was like, dude, this girl's awesome, and I'm going to tell people about her. And once again, I'm a huge influencer in my little area, but my area has gotten crazy big, and it's getting bigger, and it's cool.
That's awesome.
Yes. And the weird thing is I'm not scared about it. So that's the part that's kind of weird. But that's because I remember the outcome is ego centered. The process is God centered. And that's kind of where I'm trying to live. And so I just want, like, whatever you would like to talk about for the time you have, I would love it if you just, whatever you feel pushed or pulled or directed or whatever.
What is your ultimate goal? Like, why do you do what you do?
My gift which a lot of times, because I want to be selfish,
Mhm.
is uh, it's easy for me to people help adjust the way they see themselves,
Mhm.
which then, of course, in turn adds value to their own life.
Yeah.
Um, I am amazing at my degrees are psychology, sociology. I'm a certified alcohol drug counselor for the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
Um, CrossFit coaching. That's all I've ever done,
Yeah.
because once I realized helping somebody made everything else in my life almost non-important.
Mhm.
Um, it was very much like, oh, and then it becomes natural. So like, even though it is kind of strange that I'm reaching out to a stranger and saying, you've impacted me. I've done that to, like, I emailed the brand new owner of CrossFit because I was like, I'm gonna do it. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
People, I want to be around people, not just because they're cool.
Mhm.
Um, like, it's cool that I'm working with U of M weightlifting team.
Yeah.
What's really cool are the people. The kids are cool.
Yeah.
A big part is because it's a club sport still, so it's not all weird and like, oh, we need to recruit you and everything. But these kids still get up, paying their own bills, still get up at 8 in the morning to get there at 9 on a Saturday for
Yep.
college. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, that was BC, before Corona, so who knows, whatever. But um, my ultimate goal is to kind of do what I'm doing, which is I'm helping a woman who runs a company that works with athletes into giving them life skills and making sure that
Mhm.
they're prepared for life after sport.
Mhm.
Um, and she worked at U of M for a long time, and I just met two of the people that she works with and that she's impacted. One was on the World Series softball team for U of M, and one was a swimmer for U of M, and they are now coaches and also run a similar thing for just girls, which is amazing. Having an
Mhm.
11-year-old daughter and understanding from a boy perspective how
Yeah.
unfair society is towards girls, and having a lot of teen girl athletes. Um, so I'm doing that, which, once again, I don't know where it's going, but I have the call I'm going to after this is for the Detroit Police Athletic League, and
Mhm.
working with them because she used to do that. And who knows? I literally just reached out to him and said, hey, I've just partnered with this woman who used to run programs for you. How can we help for free? Whatever. It's because it's going to help the inner city kids. It's going to help kids in general, especially in Michigan, because we're still locked down. And it's with the police department, which is something
Mhm.
important to me. And so I'm like, how is
Yeah.
that? That's, once again, unselfishly altruistic. The more I live in that realm,
Yep.
the more opportunities I have to be impactful. And then I'm
Yeah.
also helping somebody who's an ER nurse create a CrossFit um, a CrossFit elite throwdown, because CrossFit games were canceled for the teens. And so
Right.
we're still putting on a huge 4-day event, socially distanced and all this stuff. And I'm helping her out
Yeah.
because literally just maybe middle of March, end of March, I was going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden I woke up, paid attention, and God was like, yeah, I want you to connect frontline workers with volunteers to help them so they can avoid PTSD and they can stay open and share with all the stuff going on. Now, being a person who's been really putting themselves in it, I was like, okay, God, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
Um, and like, so if you ever go back and watch some of my videos, I'm literally kind of asking God, like, I don't know what you're wanting me to do, but I'm looking at, reaching out and talking to people,
Yep.
and all those people have led me to where I am.
Yeah.
And so I don't 100% know what it's going to look like. I know
Mhm.
I used to want to do motivational speaking in my head, the way I saw motivational speaking And, you know, like I love Simon Sinek, Les Brown, Jim Rohn, you know, Tony Robbins, like the mini version, and ET and stuff. But why I'm so successful right now is because I'm supporting and I'm helping, which I always thought I never thought I'd be I know I'm the flight attendant. I know I'm the flight attendant.
Yep.
But I'm also,
Grounds crew.
yeah, I never even thought of that because I am not detail oriented. I am literally so ADHD that I come downstairs most of the time and my wife will tell me what I was coming downstairs for before I have to ask her because I'm standing there going, but when it's not about me and it's about the purpose and the mission and I just supporting those people, like I was on the phone till 11 something at night last night talking to the ER nurse friend of mine who's also been sober for over 20 years. So every time I talk to her, it's a meeting for me too. And I'm like, God, well played, sir. That's a mic drop. Good for you. So I love the question of what is my ultimate goal? I mean, it is a beautiful question that I have no answer to. But where I am currently is awesome.
Good.
So both of the women I'm working with would love to stand in front of hundreds and thousands of people. And I'm like, sweet. Because when I get involved and I need the attaboys and the pats on the back and I want to be out front, I do the easing God out ego version. I'm like, ooh, okay. And I haven't enjoyed myself and been a good dad and a better husband and taking advantage of COVID lockdown. I'm not taking advantage of COVID. It sounds weird, but you know, like I haven't been the best version of myself for myself. And so I know for my wife, it would be great if I had a very specific, clear, monetized answer for the question of what is my ultimate goal. But I'm currently, my trajectory and what I'm doing is currently working towards that. I know at some point this will monetize because helping people, just so many different God things that I'm like, okay. But once again, it's getting really big, which is uncomfortable. But let's go back to the snapshot of you, because that's another reason why I wanted it. It was because I just talked about the last time I took time truly learning something, which has been the last 8 months. And then the move faith, or your faith moves mountains, your doubt creates. Oh, I know somebody who said that. Because once again, I spent years making myself smaller, and I've always known I'm meant for more. And so when people would say, you know, you should be on the stage, I'm like, kind of see that. But when it gets all about me, I perform as opposed to this, like, this is my so natural state, like talking to somebody for 4 hours, crying with people. Like a week before I left CrossFit, I was by myself and I sat, once again, I was looking at trying to make things organized and I literally was just doing this for an hour after everybody was gone. I thought, when's the last time I cried? And I'm a very sensitive person. And I got scared because I went, I couldn't remember. Well, that was a week later when I realized, oh, I know when I'm crying. I'm crying every day. I'm crying several times a day. Okay. And now I'm crying because of the connection. Like, and I sit there, you know, and that's why I like, because at first I really wanted to do the class with ET. And I was like, I really want to do this. And I want to be this type of coach. And I just stopped. And it was weird because I'm like, why am I not just doing it? So, you know, financially I was able to, and this and that. And I went, because it would still be about me right now. I'm not ready for that. Which selfishly, I was a little sassy kid kicking my rock and saying, stupid, I don't care. I do want to anyway. Um,
We've all been there.
and I just, I only gonna surround myself with people who are purpose driven
Mhm.
and also living that purpose. Cause it's not easy. It
Right.
is not, I'm sure it'd be wonderful for you if within the first 7 posts, you had like 7 clients and they're all paying you 1,000 a day. And you're like,
Nice.
this is pretty sweet. Cause now you're thinking, well, I get to go to ET's thing and be like, you want to know who's successful? And success isn't necessarily like Instagram, we see it. It's not linear.
Mhm.
Progress is not linear. Life is not linear.
Yep.
And people are messy. Emotions are messy. Life is good. And then it's, well, obviously it's, life is, if we're alive, it's good.
Yep.
The opportunities for struggle are also there. So, you know, um, but like I said, just reading your stuff and your authenticity comes through and your I know once again, you might get up and it might be at 10 in the morning when you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm gonna write. But the dedication to this discipline, I noticed a lot of that because like June, I was so good for so much. Like I think I did like 4 videos and 3 of them were these. So I didn't
Yeah.
even do my everyday check-ins. I didn't do most of my dad diaries for my kids, like writing down what we talked about or what we did that day. I was
Mhm.
lax on that. And so, but what I like is every day I have an opportunity. And I saw one of your things and I didn't copy that one, but it's
Sure.
basically you can kind of restart. Like the now one.
Yep.
I don't remember. It's on the right side. I'm sure I'll find it. But it's to
Somewhere.
me, it's I appreciate people who are on the because once again, I like that we're not in the same boat, but we're all in the same water. We're
Mhm.
all in the same storm. It's
Mhm.
life. Nobody's making out alive.
Yep.
We're not gonna win.
Yep.
Um,
There's a song that says the finish line is 6 feet in the ground.
yeah, and you're like, oh, which
Really
once
is.
again, that's kind of why I appreciated COVID and the opportunity to have
Mhm.
people almost breathe and calm. And like I don't speed, and if people are going slow, who cares? If I'm grateful I get to drive around, even if it's just to drive around and not stop anywhere. I get to
Yep.
drive around.
Yep.
And once again, that's the life or happiness is simple. It's not easy. We know that.
Right. Right.
And and what it's also hard is because I I know I'm successful, more successful than I've been maybe my whole life, which is
Mhm.
weird because it's also kind of like, what do people say when they, talk to you? Oh, how are you doing? What are you doing for work? What do you do? And I'm like,
Mhm.
good question. Um, so, like, how did you connect? How did you decide, you know what? Yeah, I am kind of the cat's patoot. Let's do this.
Um, so I've always been a positive person. I've always been happy. The things that people notice about me are that I laugh at everything and I'm always smiling. Yeah. And so then that just drove me to know that the world needed more light and the world needed more positive people. And then people who can push others but have an impact with a positive attitude in like a positive way instead of just getting angry at people and trying to force them to change and think what I think. And I am creating a space for people to be able to think for themselves, but to push them to get more out of themselves.
That's well said.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
I don't
cool.
ever remember what I say, so it's all.
But that's you're
Yeah.
creating a space for people.
Hmm.
Dang,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that. But it's
Yeah.
that's bookmark. It's creating a space for people to do that. But you
Yeah.
know, to push themselves and to get more
Yeah.
out of it. I love that.
Yeah, because I think people are scared sometimes because I've had several people tell me that they love my videos, people that I never thought even watched them. Um, and so it's been cool, and it's been God showing me the direction that he wants me to go, because part of it I did the same way I did it kicking and screaming. I did that with my coaching business. I had somebody, because I have a health and wellness business, I have a biohacking business, and that's my main focus. And I absolutely love it because I get to help people. I get to help people with their health. I get to help people financially. That's basically what my challenge is centered around. And so I didn't want to add another business, but the person who pushed me into leadership within BU, which is Eric Thomas's community, Breathe University, was also the one who pushed me into becoming an extreme execution coach. And I say pushed as in the most loving way, because I'm
Yes.
very appreciative. But I was kicking and screaming for the extreme execution coaching, and it's been one of the biggest blessings of my life, because I have been able to connect with so many like-minded people and people who just want to help others, and can use the assessment as a way to show people what they're really good at, and a way to give people a purpose and a reason and a why. Because I've had people come to me that didn't know their purpose for being on earth and their reason and their why. And I believe that mine is to help those people find it and figure it out, because we can do so much good. Um, so yeah, so that's what led me to do everything that I do. I don't do as many videos as I need to, and I know I need to, because every time I do one, people tell me that they connect with it. So
Hmm.
yeah, even if it just connects with one person, I need to do it.
Hmm. Wait, you mean
Do
debating
it
versus
versus
doing?
debating.
Hmm,
Yep.
that's weird. I heard that somewhere. Some cool chick told me that.
Um,
I
I
don't
need
know.
to
We'll
take my
figure
own
it out.
advice.
Listen, I
All the time I need to take my own advice.
I know that.
But yeah, so I do it to help people, and how many other people I help is fantastic. I have a mission. My mission is to impact millions of lives through helping others be able to level up, because together we are far greater than alone. Um, I just butchered my own mission, but it's something like that.
That's
So
okay.
yeah. So I'm looking to help people through impacting others' lives. And you would ask me what I wanted to talk about. And the thing that came up when we were talking, or when you were talking, is you can truly impact people through showing them that they are not a victim, and that they are in full control of the rest of their lives, because you've proven that. And so I think that's one way that you can really impact a lot of people's lives, and to just go for it, and to just ask the question and call the people. And because that's how I've made my best connections. I was an intern for the Denver Broncos when I was in college, because I called them up and asked them. And they basically created it for me. And so some of them didn't know that I was an intern, but it was all good. So
Wait a minute.
it was like a secret internship, but I got to do it because I asked the question, and I was relentless in that pursuit. And one of my biggest mentors in my biohacking business is because I did the same thing you did. I reached out to him on Instagram and was like, "Hey, I really like what you said. Can we talk?" And so yeah, so it like means so much to me that you reached out and like kept, because sometimes I have things going on and I space it, but I'll always come back to it. But it means so much to me that you reached out and took the time. So I greatly appreciate that.
You bet. And that's one of the things is God does not have a watch. And I get reminded of that all the time. And then it's super funny because I'm like, because I can tell if I'm doing well, because I'm like, oh, I think maybe I'm just supposed to kind of chill right now. Okay, that's cool. Or otherwise I'm going, Dominique said she was gonna, and so instead of,
Yeah.
because then it's, I know you're doing something. If we're going to connect, the opportunity will present itself. And once again, what I like is like a lot, pretty much you articulated way better and more concise than I do, which is not shocking. But what you said is just being available, and I'm just going to try to help.
Mhm.
We understand, you understand being a coach in different avenues.
Mhm.
People will even say that they're ready and will start and then pull back. And so it's like, if I'm, which was once again, my self-esteem was caught up on whether the gym was gonna do good. And then, but yet when I took, I had a couple athletes, couple girls go to the CrossFit games, because it was a direct relation with them. How they did at the games and how they did in the events never mattered. Was not going to change my opinion on them. And
Yep.
so that's how I knew I wasn't completely separated from my purpose,
Mhm.
but pretty much most of the times I was. I would be like,
Yep.
okay, I'm over here. And it was all about me and then how I was going to do this. And instead of what have I been blessed with to be able to bless others? Because
Mhm.
I'm a horrible individual athlete because I root for everybody. I'm like, it's why it's hard for me to judge, because I coach while I'm judging.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, you got to do better. You got to get, it's not so good because you're like, I'm
You
going
got
to
that
root for
pride.
somebody. You know what
Oh,
I
I
mean?
love that. That's really
Yeah,
nice.
I'm going to root. Because like you said, I just giggle and smile, and I can't really tell jokes because I know the punchline's coming. So I giggle because I'm getting excited because it's going to happen. And then I totally butcher it. And I'm like, oh, I don't think that was the way it was, but it's still funny, isn't it? And they're like, sure, dude.
Sure, I don't get
I know,
it.
they're like, made no sense. But okay, you seem happy. That's fun. Um, and I love that, and I think
Mhm.
because it is what you said about the world needs light, and sitting there, you know, not even going really political, but just understanding that it went from a world human issue to Democrat or Republican or independent, or should you wear a mask or shouldn't you wear a mask, and you're this if you do and you're this if you don't,
Yep.
and yet there's like real issues. Finally, people, are able to have a voice with racism, and a real voice
Yep.
where real
Yep.
people listen, and not just, and once again, going back to whether or not Floyd was the last straw, whether he was a good person or not a good person,
Yep.
it's beside the point. The
Yep.
point is, we don't have to like the object of our change,
Mhm.
but boom, it's there. So now let's change. And
Yeah.
having friends who are lots of different everythings. I mean, which is funny because we all are. And unless you're
Mhm.
Native American, you're not from this country anyway. Beside the point,
People don't get it, but it's
that's
all good.
why
Yeah.
that's still one thing I need to pray about more. People who are really racist, because I'm like, that's, bless your heart. Like, that's not smart,
The
because you don't.
Southern bless your heart.
Thank you. Yes, it is. Because I did a training, and after 3 days, I realized this Georgia girl kept saying that to me, and I realized what finally she meant. And
Yeah.
that's when she went, bless your heart.
A
And I was
little
like, I'm so
condescending, but it's in the
dumb.
nicest way possible.
Yep, I'm so dumb. But that's what I mean. Like, so many opportunities and so much darkness. Like, for me, and I'm on the happy side of sad, because I don't get to hug people, and that's why, as you can tell, I keep getting closer to the camera, because even if we were talking in person, that's how I am. I'm like, sorry, I'm in your space. Because I realized that's why I wear my glasses too, because when I started doing some of these, I do this all the time because I'm very expressive, and I'm like, I look like a freak. So I wear my glasses. It hidens it a little bit. But just being able to connect with people, because I've connected with a couple friends of mine whose family went through having COVID, and my father-in-law had it when he left, went back to England, and just something as reaching out to people who I know have body issues, and people who have all kinds, because if they've impacted me, I I I think it's my privilege and honor to be able to share that.
Mhm.
I don't have to, my object isn't to get the likes and isn't to get the followers and isn't, that's not, I'm not controlling that. Like you said, one person. If
Yep.
I affect in a positive way one person, kind of the bomb. Like in that I did my job because
Yep.
I know that's my job. I know my why.
Yep.
I know God's given me an almost stupid amount of enthusiasm and energy, especially for such a little guy, that I just am like, ah, and but I take that, I don't take it for granted now. And I think what I did is what is why I'm a little sad, but why I also work hard at that discipline part,
Mhm.
do more videos, is that I don't want to be like in AA. Somebody told me one time because I wanted to pass, and I was just like not saying anything. And he said, I'm not going to tell you you need to say something, but you might be at a meeting so somebody hears something you say. Don't be selfish. And I was like, oh my God. And so ever since then, I've never passed. And that was probably my third year of sobriety. So that was like 26 years ago.
Mhm.
Because being present, maybe the opportunity, and I'm well aware God's way smarter than my thoughts are. I listen to myself. But if somebody's going to get something from something I say, or just being there, or being,
Mhm.
the, the struggle and the, persistence and
Yep.
you being a light, like that's one of the things that drew me instantly. I love that you quantified it because I didn't really know what it was, which
Yeah.
is, I think to me is acceptable because it's not, I don't have to have the answers before I move. And that's where that fear part comes in, right? Like, I
Mhm.
want it all nice and in a box before I make it. I'm like, this girl is awesome, and I feel very drawn to her, and she's saying amazing stuff. I'm gonna reach out to her.
Yep.
I've read a lot of other people. I've
Yep.
not reached out to a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Some of them responded, some of them haven't. You responded, and I'm so grateful that you took the time to be you
Yeah.
and be available selfishly for me to make another cool, amazing friend and to have um, a connection. That's what I
Yeah.
keep calling them. I just call them connections because
Connections are great.
that's that's really what I wanted to do. And I'm grateful that God's made it easy for me to talk to people because I truly just like people.
Mhm.
Like something as simple as I loved your picture of your dad with his country life shirt, and I was like, oh, she's a good daughter. Because I have a daughter, and so
Yep.
and most of the time she likes me, but I'm
Yep.
also super embarrassing. And it's like, oh,
Every
dad.
dad is embarrassing, but when they get older, they appreciate it. Because my dad will have so much fun with me, and neither of us care. It's fun.
And to me that's the important stuff, I think. So um yeah, I like I said, if there's anything you want to say, I don't want this to be a one and done, really, because even if we don't record it or whatever, I just want to get you out there because
Yep.
literally your message and just you,
Mhm.
so while keeping your head inside the screen. But yeah, just like you said, the humble version of you is is important, and I want to help blow it up because it's awesome. And what I like is there's nothing in it for me. Having said that, I still get to know you. So then of course I'm like, yeah, I know her. Cool. Wait, who's cool? The guy at the end of these thumbs right here? That's right. But do you know what I mean? Like one of the, like I meet a lot of famous sports people with,
Mhm.
or people like owners of bigger companies because I'm
Mhm.
helping, get sponsorships and everything.
Yep.
But there's a lot of people I met that I'm not gonna be like, ooh, that was cool that I met that person, because I'm thinking, yeah, I would never particularly go out of my way to talk to that person again. You know what I mean? Like I love cool people. You are a cool person. What
Thank
I
you.
like too is that you're kind of a big deal too, so that makes it even cooler because you're just like,
I don't think I'm a big deal, but I appreciate it.
and that's another reason why. The one thing, if you go through some of my videos, you'll see the people I've connected with are all the same. because that's you're relatable.
Yeah.
So E.T., the reason why I love when E.T. always says kind of his backstory, it's because he's relatable. Because he was not supposed to win. He was not supposed to defy the odds. And that's one of the things is, you know, it was hard for me because my parents are still married, and you know, I'm upper middle class. I'm a white male. I don't have a lot of things going against me. I really don't in this world. I'm an average sized woman. That's the only thing, really. But now because of that, I've got a sense of humor about it. So, but it also makes me more approachable because big guys and girls, and I'm not intimidating, as you can tell. I know you were probably thinking, "Whoa, you mean that big burly dude?" I'm sure. Yeah. No. But and that's how I coach. I coach the same way. I like to push, but I coach with cheerleading. And you could have 56 minutes of poop in the bed, and I don't know what you were trying to do moving right there, but none of those things are anything I've ever taught you. And I'm going to sit there and be able to immediately, by the gifts God gave me, point out all the parts that they did awesome.
Yep.
And that's just the way I think. And so when people go, "Oh, I'm so grateful that you're this way," I kind of get the same way, like, okay, well, that's just the way I am, but you're welcome.
Yeah.
But once again, that's a God thing as opposed to me. I've done so amazing.
It is.
Because I've also, stolen cars and robbed people. I haven't been so awesome.
We've all done different things.
Yes, thank you. So once again, I appreciate it so much. I gotta make sure I be on time, because otherwise I'm not so good at that.
No worries.
But yeah, like I said, I will post this after my next Zoom video, and I'll put it up there. And you're in Colorado?
I am right now. Right now I'm in Colorado.
Okay.
I still have a place in California, but yeah, right now I'm in Colorado.
Okay. So, well, thank you very much again for taking all the time. And yes,
Of course. Thank you for reaching out. That means a lot. It means more than you know. It really does. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna end, and you stay healthy and be awesome.
All
and
right.
I'm hoping to see a video by Friday, right? New video by Friday?
All right, I can do one by Friday.
All right, that's what I like. Concrete goals. All right. Thank you, Dominique.
Thank you. Bye.